Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invincible Season 4, Episode, I believe, 5. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
5. I've been waiting for you guys to see this. Conquest returns and Conquest ends again after he takes some guts with him. But yes, I've been waiting for you to see this episode, J King, and Dan. This is my favorite episode so far. What I've seen of all 6 episodes, but next week's episode is going to be great too. But this one, for that particular moment, and what led to that moment, I thought this episode was beautifully paced. It almost felt like a separate movie, to be honest with you, just in terms of where it's starting of Nolan and Alan at Mark's house, and saying, "Hey man, we need you," and then it's like the worst timing possible. But then what led to it was just great writing, and also again, I'll say restraint in terms of letting us sit through certain scenes and not let it rush. Like, yes, there's a Viltrumite war and all this stuff going on. We definitely get to that in this episode. However, we sit in the pain and the path of forgiveness in this episode, and to me, this is what made my favorite episode this season. But yeah, what was your thoughts in terms of just the pacing of this episode and just kind of how we start from beginning to end and leave on with that cliffhanger?
The way that they went about doing this episode, like, I'd say a good 50% of it was getting prepared and saying goodbyes, while the other half was getting into what this whole season has been leading up to. Because it's like, yeah, as soon as you would a casual would probably think like, oh, as soon as they recruit Mark, he's just going straight to space. And it's like, no. Look, you are telling me that I'm going to be going to space on a trip that would take Earth time 2 months, maybe even longer, depending on how everything goes. And you just want me to pack up and just say goodbye real quick? No. Like, I got some things I need to do. I got things I need to take care of. And I liked how they slowed down for the first half to allow us to have these moments of Mark saying goodbye to Eve, even though she's still withholding the fact that she's pregnant to him, or Oliver dealing with the fact that Nolan didn't want to see him, not because, and mainly just because the fact of what Nolan says later is like, he didn't want to mess up Oliver the same way he messed up Mark and Debbie. Or even moments of like Debbie finally reuniting with Nolan and the two of them saying the quiet parts out loud and getting to actually discuss how what he did traumatized her. And even if he has changed, he can't take back the things that he did and the things that he has said and the people that he has killed. Like, he can't rewind time and undo all of that crap. It's happened. It's unreversible. And as she said, you can't fix this. There's a lot of things that you can't repair. He keeps using the word for repair because he's like, he thinks he can fix it. But as she said, he can't. And so I just love that the first half of this episode allowed us to like sit with this before we got into boom, we're in space, boom, it's time to fight all these Viltrumites and everything. It allowed us to sit with these characters that we have been with for the last 4 seasons, like almost 5 years of our lives, thinking about it as well since the show has started, and just be like, this is going to be one of the biggest moments of their lives. So it's like, we need that time to just be with them before it. It's like, it's before you send your child off to war, it's that type of thing, which I really appreciated.
And again, with those certain moments of allowing us to sit through time and let's just process in terms of the journey that these characters are going through. Because again, like, there's a few characters I want to shout out in this episode. One being Nolan, J.K. Simmons. Again, I felt one of his best episodes that he's done. Just by dialogue, not just action, but just like really with the dialogue between him and Mark, and especially with him and Debbie, which again, that was a pivotal moment that we've been waiting at least 4 seasons now to get to, and now we're finally here. And I thought Debbie, the voice actress that plays Debbie, I think did a really good job of allowing that scene to be so raw, and I think also deviated from the comics too, because again, she really, to my knowledge, I don't think she had a boyfriend during that time when Nolan came back in the Invincible comic, but I could be mistaken. But what in that scene, to me, it's just like, okay, well, no, we're not making this easy, because we know, and not no spoiler alert about their relationship down the line, but it's just like they allow this, like, no, this ain't no easy fix. And at the same time, she's waiting for this moment to actually, after she is healed and processed and also wanting to move, and move on. And now she can't because now Nolan's back and now it's taking her sons away. And I do feel her frustration, but also even again, her going back to him, referring to him like, hey, did you, am I still your pet? Again, that's one of the most powerful lines out of that hurt. And he's like, no, you never were. Now, if you notice it, to Oliver's mother, who's on that other planet, that his biological mother, he said, oh no, she meant nothing to me, whatever. So I don't know. I think if the next episode we get to deal with that part of like, okay, Nolan's side with Oliver, because again, there's much as again he sees it for the first time and everything, and then I like even how Mark acted as a big brother, just like, hey, just because you feel bad doesn't mean he can't come to see you. It's like, what do you think the O stands for? I thought that was, again, it showed that, hey, listen, like, I'm your son before, and I know what I went through with you, and now you can have an opportunity not to screw this up again. But yet, he just kind of set himself as a pity party, which again, the path to forgiveness is not easy. But I liked how they just allowed those scenes to be raw and organic though. But even before we even get to another character, even before, as you're preparing to just have a normal day of having proper dinner with everyone, with Eve and with Oliver and everyone, again, just allowing us to have us, the calm before the storm, but still doesn't know that she's pregnant, but still just enjoying, life, enjoying having some sense of peace for now, right? And I liked again that they allowed that to play out before because we knew what we didn't know yet, but now we know just like what they're paying off at the end of the episode. It just, again, like, yeah, that was the calm before the storm. But as we get into Earth, and not only there to pick up Mark as well, but they're also picking up Tech Jacket, which is a big character in the Invincible world. If you've read comics, another side character, but very powerful character in Invincible comics. And we knew that in the previous episodes that the species or whatever that owns the technology, they have a champion, whatever, on Earth that can powerful to fight Viltrumites and stuff. And we get to see Tech Jacket, and we saw a little bit of Tech Jacket last season in the Invincible War, clearly winning, killing a version of Mark, but in this version, we get to see this Tech Jacket, and we find out that she's a girl.
You what?
You need to leave.
And a little bit younger, and give or take, but yes, it's a girl, and it's not Zach from the comics, it's Zoe. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, like, I wish my reaction was recorded. When I saw this, and I was just like, okay. Okay. I remember I texted you. I was like, hey, they did something, they made a change to this where it just like, it didn't bother me. It was just like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. But all right, and again, a lot of great other characters in the Invincible world, whatever, nothing against this, but just Tech Jacket was a character I was looking forward to, only just to switch up like that. I was like, damn, but it's okay. I think she's, and again, you're like her, and more episodes coming up and stuff. But what was your thoughts on Tech Jacket, not as Zach, but as Zoe?
Tech Jacket is also, especially when I started getting into the Invincible comics years ago, was always one of my favorite breakout characters, not only just for what was seen in Invincible, but also his standalone comics as well, which I do hope eventually gets made into a special just like Eve got. But yeah, when I saw that, I knew Tech Jacket was going to be in the season, but the fact that it was like, oh, there was no voice actor, announced, or we heard no lines within any other trailers. I almost thought it was going to be a sort of silent thing or a robotic voice for a second. And then the moment it's revealed that, oh no, there's a VA. It's just not a male VA. Instead of Zach, it's Zoe. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I said it while I was watching it. I wasn't mad at all. I was just shocked because I was just like, oh, okay. We're doing this. Gotcha. I mean,
they're doing
as someone who as someone who's read the books, it's like what Zoe has represented so far within this episode still very much is Tech Jacket. It's not like they changed up the entire personality of the character,
Right.
or
Right.
even the backstory, because we still get the father. And again, hopefully we get a special announced after the season. But it's like, it seems like everything is still intact, and character wise the character is still there. It's just a different gender now and a different name. And I think maybe around the same age as was, for Zach in the comics, or at least around that time. I would have to look back, because I think
Still
Zach was still a
teenagers.
teenager.
Yeah.
Still a teenager, like early 20s around that time. But either way, I'm not mad. I know there's going to be a certain part of the internet that's mad. We're not talking to you guys, but I'm just saying, like, I don't have a problem when it comes to certain things like this, as long as what the character represents and at least most of their personality is intact. And at least from what I have seen so far, I do not mind Zoe Tech Jacket, because it still reminds me of Zach Tech Jacket, just the fact that, gender change. So I don't have a problem with it, and I hope you guys don't either, because this is still a very cool character that I think definitely still deserves, your attention just as much as many of the other characters within this, because they fit very well. And I mean, hell, they even fit well with Oliver when, they're all on their way off to Telestria to, go reunite with everybody.
Right, and I want you to mention that, because I didn't realize until now, like, no, she was near the same age as Oliver, which I think that was trying to put a pairing. I don't think it's going to be some type of relationship or anything, but you have another preteen or younger teenager. I don't want to say preteen, but just younger teenager. That's like around the same age as Oliver, so which kind of puts a level of stake where it's just like you're not letting Oliver only be the only kid, or in the group. And you also see it from another perspective too. And again, she has a really good pairing with Alan, and I think also that was a shift too as well. Just again, and if you don't, I'm not aware of Tech Jacket, but similar to Blue Beetle, in a certain sense. But yeah, it's but I think that the main important thing is not only just her powers, but her dynamic with her father as well, and the fact that they're just good to go, and like, oh yeah, all right, let's go. And it's kind of interesting seeing that type of superhero family dynamic, But now, as we're getting ready to leave, going onto the ship, we got 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks ago on travel, and now everyone's just chilling on United Airlines and stuff. Air traffic good. They're paying the TSA workers in space and stuff, so they don't have to go through TSA pre-check and all that stuff. They don't have to wait in line like I did. Pay your TSA workers. But anyway, you might have an easier travel. But yeah, they had intergalactic 2-week travel, and this is the time we actually sit with the crew and everything. And Oliver is kind of feeling a little bit standoffish, like, hey, you didn't even talk to me. And then and as Mark is still processing this weight of Mark wanting to bring Oliver over here. But aside from that, we get the ship hijacked by Viltrumites, and it blowed up, and all of a sudden Lobo turns up. Nolan wakes up, and other people show up. I forgot the few characters' names from the Viltrumites that are pivotal characters later, like
it's Conquest's group. It's like him, it's Viltrumite Steve Harvey, it's whoever the other guy.
Let's call him Viltrumite Steve Harvey. Yeah,
Harvey.
he got a little bit of a belly, but it's okay. He's immortal, so it's whatever. We don't care. But yeah, that's the nickname. There you go, Viltrumite Steve Harvey. But yes, we have Conquest come back, and Mark is like, wait, how the heck are you alive, right? But then no time to wait. We're whooping ass today. So rematch 2. And then now Nolan's in the fight, right? And so when they jump in, Conquest is jump in to get Mark, and all of a sudden, oh, Oliver, let me get you now, right? But then all of a sudden Nolan jumps in and says, hey, stay away from my sons. What was your thoughts in terms of that whole sequence fight before we kind of get onto the the planet and with Conquest and Invincible? But in fight in space, it's like a 5-on-4 or whatever, or 5-on-5, whatever, aside from the Viltrumite other army that they basically conquered, and they're supporting them and everything. But what was your thoughts on terms of that intergalactic fight with the Viltrumites?
Yeah, I do like how, even though when thinking about it, Mark's group does have the bigger numbers because again, it's him, it's his father, it's Oliver, it's Alan in his tech jacket. Even though they're fighting 3 Viltrumites, again, they're fighting 3 Viltrumites plus one of the strongest ones that Mark already thought he killed. So it's like that fight thankfully had like I think it had a good like power balance because you had a lot of strong characters there that are able to hold their own against each other while also being able to inflict damage upon each other. But there wasn't like a big moment there wasn't like Space Racer or Battle Beast coming out of nowhere. They're going to show up later, but it's in terms of the characters we had right now, it's like they were able to fight one another without taking each other out. So again, as I said, good power balance, at least until we get to the Mark and Conquest rematch. And again, there's definitely a lot of moments where you're like, oh no, is this person about to bite the bucket, or is this person about to get his head smashed in, or is she about to? It's like nope, close. Tech Jacket had a few things happen with the armor. Oliver almost got his head squished, but until the Conquest and Mark fight,
Yeah, Viltrumites, once they do this with their hand, they don't mean business. It's like, hey, I'm about to end this today. I'm tired of playing with you. Once you get in that, that slice.
Like the reverse flash. It's like the reverse flash moment.
Yeah, Flash or the Immortal, that Mortal kill, in the gut, Flash, that Mortal Kombat fatality. But as we get into it, we're actually now seeing Oliver, kind of is wounded, but yet, this is his first time flying in space, right? So he can't breathe, at least hold his breath for long. And then, so Mark says, home, hey, go down to that planet. And then Cock was like, no, I'm not done with you. And he's chasing him. And boy, it's funny that you had that one shot where you thought, all right, now I can breathe now. And that slow mo, like, that's like, yep, textbook, yes, screenshot. But Mark saves him and pushes him out the way, and now it's like Mark, like, no, I'll let you go, once, I'm not letting you go again. So I am chokeholding you to death at this point, to my last grip, and that I'm pulling you down, I'm getting out, and I'm choking you, and all of a sudden, Conquest got a good, grip on him, and see, we're giving that Adam Eve treatment, and then he started like, nope, I'm time to collect some guts today, and then do it slow as I'm losing breath. Like, hey, if I'm dying, I'm taking you with me, and I'm just gonna go and slow and keep pulling these intestines out. Now, this scene is verbatim as like textbook in the comics, and again, they let this sit in terms of the pacing of that fight, of just allowing it just to see him just slowly just pull the guts out again. And you think he's done, like, no, bring it again until he's done, purple in the face. And all of a sudden Oliver and Nolan shows up, and now he just sit there with a Mark with bloody guts, near death or dead at this point. But now I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to allow that gap of time when he's healing to hopefully be a bonding experience for Oliver and Nolan, because again, it's like now time moves different for Oliver, so it's almost like you can make up some of the years that you lost through the brief time you've been with them and everything. So again, it can work though. But what was your thoughts in terms of that fight of Conquest, now supposedly dead as we know of so far, and him pulling out the guts of Invincible slowly but painfully?
Look, if y'all could have seen my face, it's like it wasn't the fact that he did that, it was the slow pulling it out that almost had me like, I've seen a lot of shit within the season. Hell, I've seen a lot of shit within The Boys, and yet that was the moment that almost had me gag. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, it just the slow, I was like legitimately, if y'all could have seen my face, I was this close. And it's like, I do have to agree, it's like that was a big struggle, because again, you got Conquest, you guys remember what he did last season, and then you got Mark, who is not holding back, because this is one of those villains that's like, yeah, no, regardless of what anyone says, he needs to be taken down 6 feet under into a coffin, atomized. Because it's like the fact that Mark thought he killed him already and he came back. I mean, it was mainly because the fact that Cecil kept him alive, but still, he doesn't know that yet. Emphasis on yet. But it's like, it's just like the fact that we were sitting with that for I think a good minute and a half. The fact that we sat with Mark choking him out and Conquest pulling the guts for like a good minute and a half until Conquest was finally done and at least dead. We'll see if it sticks this time, but like dead, to the fact that Mark can then rest. It's like, oh, but I also do think that this is now the time, because it's like, you know, they'll have to reunite. They'll have to in some way reunite with the Coalition of Planets and reunite with Tech Jacket and Alan, who we didn't even mention are hiding amongst the Viltrumite ship to not be detected right now. But they're gonna have to reunite with everyone and find some way to heal. I mean, Mark heals, but like we said before, Viltrumites, they heal, they just heal slowly. So it's definitely gonna take some time, and it will be time that Oliver and Nolan can have to, like, you know, mend wounds and all that type of shit, you know. So this is a setback for now, but at the very least, it's like the war's not done. This is basically just the opening act. We still got the main event left. We still got Thrak left. So
yeah, and you know, they pull a Star Wars move of Tech Jacket with Alan in there. And again, I think they have a really interesting dynamic and friendship there. We have the Coalition of Planets basically just saying, hey, it's time for war, you know, for us to, you know, go war against the Viltrumites. But I will emphasis saying this is like, we got 3 episodes left, and what happens in episode 6 was like, okay, I thought this was technically a finale, right? And it's like, no. And I'm intrigued to see how they're going to build up to this, because the way they left off this episode and what comes next is even far greater than what they did in this episode, if you know the story of Invincible. So stay tuned for that. But this was by far the best episode they've done this season. Again, I'm still a fan of episode 2 with that Viltrumite origin. That still is like, you know, top notch. But other than that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let us know your thoughts on episode 5 of Invincible season 4, which is on Prime Video. We'll be back next week again for episode 6. You guys are not ready. And also make sure your notification bell and check out all of our other videos. We got Daredevil going on, and we got other stuff going on at the same time as well, the time of this recording. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll see you guys next video. Peace.